So I've recently had this idea. We're trying to have peace in Afghanistan, and one of the biggest problems in Afghanistan is the act of war. And in the act of war, we have what is known as people who act in a warlike manner. And the number one that they act in a warlike manner is with tools of destruction, like this here. This is a normal knife. I would use this for cutting vegetables. It's serrated and it's sharp. But if I use it, I could stab, or I could cut, or I could slash, or I could do all sorts of things with it, right? But the unique thing about this weapon is that the blade to it here is made of metal. It's steel. Now my suggestion here is to create a drone system that the military uses that uses small drones with a limited wingspan that are only designed to follow one main drone with a system relay between that main drone and those other drones that identifies down below on the Earth's surface metal, specifically iron, Fe. Now, we know that iron is readily detectable by metal detectors, and that iron is used in things like rocket launchers, tanks, machine guns, trucks, cars, you name it. So this signal system here relays back to that signal system there that sends in a drone. And then this drone here is identified by its own IP that runs back and forth through virtual time. And so what this system does is it's already scanning and mapping everything below it and identifying through X-ray everything that has a metal contingency or continuancy with it. So this thing is sending down a waveform that's identifying metal. It sends a signal to this drone here that goes down and magnetically attaches itself to that piece of metal, or to something that is near that metal that it can magnetically attach itself to. Now what it does is it magnetically locks. So when this magnet here hits the metallic surface here, the locking system then initiates and pulls itself to a trigger mechanism no different than a landmine. And it's a small plate trigger system that's based on a magnesium phosphorus. Okay, mag-phos. The goal here is not to hurt human life. The goal here is to go to the item that's metallic, take that item, magnetize yourself to it, and then hit it with mag-phos, increasing the temperature so much of that metal that it actually fuses the metal and causes the metal to be irreplaceably irreparable, basically warping it. This would work great. So people like the Taliban or the Al-Qaeda or any of those other groups of people, or even insurgents in Mexico, if you had to fight the mafia down there, the number one way they get someplace, their trucks, their engines are metal. You send in this drone here, it maps it, and then these come out, and then they hit the metal, and they melt it. And once it's melted, what do they have? They have the basic needs to be able to create a warfare, but they can't come close to you because you can't fight with this against an army like the United States of America, or an army like the Mexican army, or anyone like that. So thus, by reducing their ability to have iron, metal, Fe, you reduce their ability to have warfare. And at the same time, you're not harming them. So there's no complaints.